What is good, guys? It's your boy Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Nio, what on earth I expect to be happening to Nio for the short-term and long-term future. I'm going to talk about what on earth the mainstream media is saying about Nio as well before I give you guys my Nio prediction for tomorrow and the near-term and long-term future. Before I get started, before I say anything, I do have to mention that I'm not a financial legal or taxation expert, so don't take this as financial legal or taxation advice. Everything in this video is solely for entertainment purposes only. And also, if you guys can, please smash that like button if you want to see like this on stream, but this entire Nio community as a whole. With all that said and done and out of the way, guys, let's get on with the video. So looking at Nio from a technical perspective, we can see that it's up about 1.13% for the day, looking pretty good. Not counting after hours, it closed at $41.30 a share. Now, I did tell you guys that I did expect Nio to possibly have some downside. That's because of the bad news that did come out, or at least the way the media made it seem. But despite that, despite the fact that Nio had that news, it still looks really good today, showing lots and lots of strength above the $40 level of support. And the strength it had makes me even more bullish for the near term future, especially when Nio Day is coming out mid-December. It's going to be absolutely awesome. From the 6-day perspective, we can see that we're still in a bit of a bullish cycle that could be perpetuating very soon. Now, looking at what happened, there was a lot of upside that led Nio going from $33 all the way up to 42. Then we entered a bit of a, how should I say, bearish cycle, so to speak, but it wasn't really bearish. It was more like sideways. Then we dropped all the way down to 33, but then bounced all the way up. And after we dipped, this big bounce up right over here shows the recovery, and that could cause the MACD to cross the 9-day moving average once again right over here, showing we could enter or perpetuate on the bullish cycle that we were on. So the reason why I'm even more bullish comes from none other than the RSI simultaneously. The RSI is showing massive amounts of strength. Now, Goldman Sachs did say in the past that Nio should beat $56 very soon. And my price target is still the same. I still think that Nio is going to break $56 but before the year ends, especially as there are big days coming up on December 18th. That's going to be absolutely huge. So I'm just putting it out there for everyone to hear. Now, Nio has insane potential. We're well aware of this. But what does this mean for the investors? And what does this mean from what the media has been saying quite recently? So there are some pieces of news that I want to go over real quick before I do any price predictions. And let's just go over that real quick. Basically, Inside EV stated that Nio EV sales are down in October despite all-time high demand. And once again, the media is just going on about this once again. It says Nio reports a surprisingly low electric car sales for the month of October after its all-time record of over 10,000 units in September. Now, it did 10,000 in September and it only did 3,667 in October, and that was due to many production issues that they have, and there was a backlog that ended up coming. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, because Nio is still preparing for that. Now, the dip that came is basically showing that Nio is getting ready to retool and get ready for bigger moves coming up very soon. We can see which specific models are down. For instance, their 5-seater SUV, or the ES6, had 2,500, down 6%. The EC6, once again, it's up about 4%. And the ES8, which is their 7-seater or 6-seater SUV, it's down 85%. In total, they're down 27.5% for the month of October. And even though that's happening, even though Nio is a little bit down, you can see right over here in this chart, the red represents where Nio was this year. The dark blue represents 2020 and the light blue represents 2019. And over the past few years, you could see the red is way higher than before, except for the month of October. Suddenly, the red is lower than where they were last year during this time. Now, even though that's happening, they're still doing really well, because they did sell over 70,000 electric cars this year alone, and they're up about 123% year over year. But overall, October was not a good month, as they're just recalibrating their production capabilities. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail about why that's happening, but I do want to put it out there that there is a bit of a negative sentiment that came from it. But even though it happened, even though it caused Nio to drop down to 38, it's still looking really good, and I'm very excited. So the Motley Fool did say that X-Peng's October deliveries, for example, tripled, and that did help Nio, do really well. And it also talked about the restructuring and upgrades of manufacturing lines coming out did affect Nio, but despite that, it still said some good news did come, such as the fact that even though there was a global chip shortage and many constraints hurt Nio, they're still improving despite that. This is what they were doing in October. They're improving from what ended up playing out, and the next month should be absolutely amazing for Nio. I think the next upcoming months are going to be huge. So they're just kind of in a preparation stage. And people have to remember that Nio is still a relatively new company. I also want to note that Nio is a baby of a company. Even though people have really high expectations for it, it still is a bit of a baby. And this company has existed for less than a decade. And despite that, it's still absolutely crushing many different statistics. Now, Yahoo Finance compared Nio versus X-Peng versus Li Auto. And they basically talked about how X-Peng absolutely killed it. Li Auto killed it, but Nio, on the other hand, they did have a bit of a dip in October. So even Yahoo Finance is reporting this, and there was basically many supply chain volatilities that affected production. Now, even though that's happening, they're expected to begin deliveries for the ET7 in early 2022, and there's still insane catalysts, especially the Norway expansion, maybe even a German expansion coming out very soon. So overall, Nio is still doing well. It has insane potential, but October was not a good month for them, in my opinion. Things like this happen. So look at this right over here. They did say something really good on their Twitter. They said that in October, Nio delivered 3,667 smart electric vehicles. Our new orders reached another all-time high in October, driven by increased user demand. Nio's 2021 Q3 earnings report will be released on November 10th. So their earnings report is coming out. When earnings reports come out, it may not be that great, as October may be a little down. But then it's the Q3. I forgot, it's the Q3, so that's ending in September. So that's going to be actually awesome. So I think because the Q3 earnings reports coming out, there's a lot of people buying. There is a lot of positive sentiment, especially with the buy rating given by Goldman Sachs analysts. It's going to be awesome for Nio, and I think it's going to keep on running up. And I think that November is going to just cause people to forget about October, and it's just going to keep on going up in the green from then. So for what I think is going to happen, I think tomorrow is going to be a green day once again. We may end up going as high as 42, consolidating, closing at just above, I would say, around the mid $41 range. And then after that, we're going to slowly stair step our way up and up and up and up to about $55 to $56 a share, leading up to Nio Day all the way out here. So that's what I think is going to play out. I definitely think Nio has insane potential, but don't just worry about these short-term predictions. Remember, Nio is a long-term stock. We're in this for the long term too. Imagine what Nio is going to be like in 1 year. Imagine 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. This thing is going to kill it where you're still early in the game. With that said and done, guys, I do think that Nio could break around $80 to $100 towards the end of next year. And then after that, we should see Nio approach around $200 by the year 2023. It is possible. I do think it's going to happen. I think Nio has insane potential. Just give it the time it needs. With that said and done, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm very happy to have you guys as my audience, and I really wish you guys happiness and success and prosperity. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.